Hi, good morning. I mean, it's morning here, but I hope you're having a lovely, beautiful day wherever you are. Today is actually episode 28 of Knits and Babbles. Knits and Babbles is a podcast type episode where I sit down and show everything that I'm working on, what I've casted on, casted off, spinning wise, acquisitions, and it's just a really fun time to talk about projects in a bit more of a chill vibe. So if you're into that, then stick around. If you're new here, my name is Ev, and on this channel, I like to talk all about knitting, spinning, and fiber related content. Today I am actually wearing my Clematis Sweater. So this is a pattern that I knit up last spring. I knit it early at the beginning of the year, and this was knit up with some by Laxton's, I think it was Sheep Soft DK or Super Soft DK. So this was yarn that I picked up from my trip with my sister to, well, first we went to Italy, but then we stopped in London. So this is 100% British wool from London. So the sweater has that memory with it of the trip with my sister, but it's also a really beautiful yarn. I'm super happy with this color and the feel. It is a little bit more on the sheepy woolly side, so it is a little bit more rustic, but it does feel amazing. I really like it. I also love the Clematis cardigan or sweater because it has this very interesting detail, which is a side vertical button band, and that makes this so much funner of a knit and kind of keeps you motivated and interested in knitting it. Because most cardigans, for me, I don't know about you, but when it comes to the body, it's just back and forth simple knitting, and that can actually get a little bit kind of redundant and just boring. But because this is slanted, every other round you work an increase and then you work a decrease, so it kind of keeps it really fun to knit up. The Clematis is a pattern by Emma Maillet. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do because it is super stunning. It was very popular last year, and I think there's even a chunkier version now out. She released a newer version, and then I think she also has a sweater vest. So that's what I'm wearing today. But before we hop into the finished knits, I did want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an incredible online learning platform offering a wide range of classes from industry professionals and creative pros. Whether you're looking to learn a new skill, start a creative project, or boost your productivity, Skillshare has you covered. I'm sure by now you all know that I love Notion and use it on a daily basis for all of my content. I recently took a class on Notion called Notion Masterclass Maximize Your Productivity and Organization by Ali Abdel. This class was insightful and really helped me with my daily planning and task management. I love how customizable Notion is, and Ali does a fantastic job showing just how flexible it can be for someone like me. Beyond Notion, there are classes in photography, graphic design, productivity, illustration, such as Finding Your Style, 5 Exercises to Unlock Your Creative Identity by Andy J. Pisa. No matter your interest, Skillshare truly has something for everyone. One of the best things about Skillshare is that their classes are short and easy to fit into your schedule. Plus, every class includes a hands-on project so that you can put into practice what you've learned and then share it back on Skillshare with your classmates. It's a great community of learners. So be sure to check out Skillshare. The first 500 of you who click the link in the description down below or scan the QR code will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare and then 20% off your first payment for Skillshare. Get started today. Thank you so much for Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Forgive me, I do have a little bit of a cold. I know I sound a little bit nasally. I do sound so much better than I did yesterday and the day before, so it is getting better. But at the same time, who am I to let a cold stop me from doing fun, creative fiber things? You know? So we're gonna pull through. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is one that I believe last time was wet. So it was blocking, so I couldn't fully show it to you, but right now it is fully done. And it is my Mable Meadow cardigan. This is what it looks like. All the ends are weaved in, the buttons are sewn on, and this is one of my favorite knits of the year. I get complimented every time I wear it because it's truly stunning. This is a pattern by Mippy the Label, and if you guys haven't checked her out, I highly recommend you look at her patterns. They all kind of give off this vibe, this very, I don't know what the word is. It's kind of like, not chunky yarn, but it's like a little bit like a thicker yarn and just whimsical, fun, playful. I really like her aesthetic. I don't know what the word is for it, but it's very clear. She also has a YouTube channel that I highly recommend you check out. I will be linking her down below. The original pattern is supposed to have an I-cord attachment that you can then tie into like the waistband to make it a little bit tighter. I just skipped that. Other than that, I followed the pattern to the T. That was the only modification I made. So for my sweater back in March, I bought a pound of Corriedale wool from Sherry at Knigas Textiles, and I washed it because it was raw, unwashed wool. I washed it all, opened it up, picked all the pieces. I had also bought some hand carders, carded it all during the month of May and June so that for July, I would be ready for the tour de fleece. That is where I spun up all of the yarn. It took me about a week to spin up the whole pound, which is kind of insane. It is a 3-ply sport weight yarn. You probably know the story by now, but at the time I had split the wool into the lighter and darker shades because I thought that the color change would be much more drastic, but it wasn't. And yeah, I spun it, sorry, brain fog. I spun it in July. So then by the end of July, this is when the pattern went up for test knitting. And I applied for the test knit, I got in, and the pattern actually calls for a sport weight with a mohair held together. So my yarn that I had just finished spinning up was dry, ready to go. I just needed to scan it up and get a mohair for it. So that is what I did. The Corriedale isn't this like fuzzy and halo-y. That is just the mohair that I added. The mohair blended so well with this undyed natural wool. This mohair was from Tin Silk, Sandnesgarn, their Tin Silk mohair, which is a mohair wool and polyamide. So it's a little bit thicker than your traditional kid silk mohair. But I think that this just added the perfect halo to a beautiful knit. And it's also going to help with pilling because this is mainly wool. Wool tends to felt, wool tends to pill. So the mohair in here is going to help keep these stitches defined and beautiful. So I really, really like this pattern. And this is definitely one of my favorite knits of the year. Then I have the Novice Cardigan by Petite Knit. So this was knit up actually for my sister. I am going to be giving this to her for her birthday, but I'm also slightly jealous because it is such a beautiful knit. It's a beginner-friendly pattern. This color, the yarn, I don't know. I'm just kind of jealous that I'm going to be giving it away to her, but it's okay. It's fine to give gifts. For this one, I casted it on in September and finished it within like a week or two. It is a super quick, fun knit. If you want to have something a little bit easier to work up, a little bit more mindless knitting, I highly recommend the Novice Slipover. My sister has been asking for a sweater vest for the longest time. So it took me a couple years to get around to it, but I'm sure she's gonna love it. I still have one of the full skeins from this yarn because I bought 3. When it comes to gift giving, I'm so scared of running out of yarn. So I overbuy a lot, but when it's for myself, I'm like, whatever. So this is Ancient Yarns. I picked this up at Knit City in September, at the end of September. This is Nettle Soft, 68% superwash fine merino and 32% nettle. It is their DK weight. They also have a fingering weight option. And this is the color Tranquility. I paired it with this Majou yarn. This is Pearl. It is their mohair and it is 70% mohair, 30% silk. These two colors could not have been a better match. I got this one at Knit City as well, but I'm truly amazed at how beautiful this knit is. Like, I really, really want to get more yarn, this exact yarn again, and knit another knit in it. Even if this one is 68% superwash merino, you guys know I don't really like superwash yarns. They tend to feel a little bit plasticky or acrylic-y. There's just something about them. This one, I didn't have that feeling whatsoever. It feels really, really nice. And I don't know if it's because of the nettle. It does have 32% nettle. Now, nettle is a plant fiber. If you guys have knit with plant fibers, they're a little bit more straighter of a fiber, less curly and frizzy like wools are. And it kind of gives like a really interesting fuzz to the yarn itself. So paired with a mohair, that enhances it even more. But I don't know if, like, you can kind of see the nettle. It just gives it like a little bit of a look to the yarn, kind of like a hemp look as well. I don't know, I really, really enjoyed it. And because this is a super wash, in a gift knit, that's the best thing. I don't have to worry about it felting. I don't have to worry about it shrinking. I know that my sister can just, like, I'll tell her how to wash it, but at the same time, it's not as scary as giving someone a full wool sweater and then it shrinking or felting, you know? So those were the only 2 knits that were finished since we last caught up. But I then have my jean sweater. So this was so close to being done. If you guys remember in my knit during the long weekend with me, I knit up one of the sleeves and the bottom rib. Since then, I have knit the second sleeve and bound it off. All that needs to be done is the collar and the button band. Yes, I did change mine from a sweater to a cardigan because I thought that it would be really, really cute as a cardigan. I really, really wanted to knit this pattern. I love it. It's a little bit bright for me. It's a little bit fun for me, like a little too much fun. And I saw someone on Ravely did this modification, and I thought that personally a cardigan is a bit more forgiving to be fun and loud than a sweater. And I felt that I would just wear it more. So this was why I went with this modification. If you're curious, this modification, this pattern is written to be modified this way. Honestly, it was super, super easy. So the pattern you cast on for the back and you work with raglan increases. So when you're casting on, you place your stitch markers for the raglans, but at the same time, you're gonna do short rows back and forth to shape the back before working the yoke. And when you're done with the short rows, you connect the knit at the front. So for this one, what I did is I just didn't connect and I just kept knitting back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and worked my stitches down that way. That is it. Super easy. You just don't connect and work the chart as is. This pattern, a couple people did message me saying the pattern is a bit intimidating for them and it was a bit tricky, but honestly, once you get past, it's just written differently. Once you get past the yoke, it is very easy because the sleeves have no decreases, the body has no decreases, there's no shaping to it, it's just flat knitting, and it is a very easy chart to memorize. I no longer need the pattern to knit this up at all. I memorized it really, really quickly, and it was just like a mindless knitting. The rib finishing is a twisted rib for the sleeves and the body. So now where I'm at with this sweater is the collar. The original pattern has a twisted rib collar, and I do want to keep in line with the twisted rib design from the sleeve and the bottom rib because that's how you finish it off, and then I did an Italian bind off. The thing is, I am a little bit worried for the button band because I feel like a twisted rib button band, I've never done one before and we don't really see that much. I do worry that it's not going to be as like strong or shapely as it would, like I'm tempted to do a double knit button band. I don't know, maybe I could do a twisted rib. It's just that the rib stitches are wider in between the twisted knit stitch. So when you put buttons in there, I just worry that it's going to be a little bit floppy or it's going to stretch out. And I do think a double knit button band is going to work a lot better. But then the collar, I want it to be like the original pattern, which is a twisted rib collar. Or do I do a double knit collar? Or do I do both? Do I mix the twisted rib collar with the double knit button band? Yeah, I'm torn between those 3 options. Double knit all the way, twisted rib all the way, and then half and half. So this has just been kind of chilling in the sidelines, which is why I say I was so close to finishing it because I've been torn for the last couple of days on what exactly to do. I think what I'm going to do is a twisted rib collar and a double knit button band. I think that is where I'm landing on, but we'll see. For sure, next time I hope to have this finished so I can fully show you guys what it looks like as a cardigan. So now if you're curious, the yarn that I used, I actually still have one full skein because I had originally bought this in Montreal when I visited back in March. And I thought I bought the yarn for the right size, for the right requirement, but apparently it seems that I bought yarn for like a double XL or something. I don't know what I was thinking. I also didn't purchase this yarn all at the same time, but I bought this one with the idea to cast on the jean sweater. I just used up one skein. This is America by Patrick Knits. It is 100% American Rambouillet Merino, and it is 411 meters the skein. I just used one. When I came back to Vancouver though, I knew that the pattern had a fingering weight held with a mohair for both color options. So I then had to find a color to work with this one, and I decided to go with the Knitting for Olive Elderflower. I thought that these two colors would work really well together. This one is more of like a yellow beige white. It's called elderflower. It's not a crisp white like the label, but it just has a little more yellow hue to it. So I knew that these two colors would complement each other very, very well. I then found the Cama Rose. This is 54% baby alpaca, 36% tencel, and 10% merino. Because, yes, I still have a full skein of this one as well. I wanted to have a more orangey, more mustardy yellow mohair to hold with this one. I didn't want to get an exact banana yellow, light baby yellow. I wanted to bring out a little bit more of a textured look to it. So this was my plan for the yellow, but because my yellow fingering weight was already a little bit thicker than the Knitting for Olive, the Knitting for Olive is just like a little bit on the lighter thin side, and this was the only like yellow that I thought worked really well. Like it just spoke to me. It's already a thicker weight than a traditional kid silk mohair. I knew I would have to get a little bit of a thicker, again, weight than a traditional kid silk mohair, so I couldn't go with the Knitting for Olive mohair. Instead, I decided to go with the Sunness Garn kid silk mohair, or tin silk mohair. This one has mohair, silk, and wool in it. So again, it is a little bit thicker. So I knew that these would work beautifully together. I have 2 of these left to do the button band and the collar. I have 2 of these left to do the button band and the collar, and I have these 2 left. So I don't know, I genuinely don't know what happened, but anyways, at least I can for once show you what the yarn looked like before knitting it up. Then I have a knit that's been a little bit in the naughty corner because I'm just mad at it, but it's time to take it out. But it is actually my Marie pillow by Petite Knit. So this is a pattern I cast on to use as a cover-up for my white pillows behind me. I just want to change it up, and I thought that knitting some home decor would be really fun. I said this one was in the naughty corner because when I casted it on, I didn't knit up a gauge. I kind of just casted it on and just was like, whatever, it's a home thing, and that's usually how I knit. If it's not a garment piece or something very complex, I won't really knit a swatch. And I was just getting a little bit nervous because it was taking me really long. So I blocked it. So this is about half the pillow. So I need another half, like another one of these over here, and then my pillow's done. The thing is, when I blocked it up, I noticed I had made a mistake. And I posted it over on Instagram. Let me just find it. But I was actually really frustrated with myself because I found that mistake. This is like Where's Waldo, but of yarn. Where is it? Oh, okay. So the mistake I made is right here. I accidentally didn't swap my yarn, or I left a float in the front. This right here, the stitch right here should be white, and it is navy. So that kind of pissed me off. So I posted a story, and then someone commented, "Oh, I see another mistake." And that was just like the drop that overflew the bowl, or the whatever whatever the saying is. That was just like, yeah, one too many, and I just got angry, let it dry, got angry, and never picked it up again. But I really need to finish it. I can't find the other mistake. It's the same mistake, but at the very top. You see it right here. Yeah. Now, even when I noticed the mistake, I knew I wasn't going to rip back. I knew I wasn't going to undo all my work. I knew I was most likely just going to duplicate stitch it, which is what I'm going to do. It's just like, that was just it for me. But now it's time to take it out and keep on knitting. Now it's time to finish up my pillow. I do want to make 2 of these, and the next one, I don't know that I'm going to make it in these exact colors. I think that I might do it in a white, but maybe I could have a fun contrast color. I do want to make 2. For this pattern, the way it is knit up is it's super easy if you don't make mistakes. It's just a flat panel and then you sew and attach a backing. So you can either sew your own backing, or Petite Knit on her website does sell the back for it with the zipper already installed. So all you need to do is just like seam the around and then put the stuffing in and you're good to go. It's a very nice pattern. She has other pillow patterns available as well, and I think that these make great home decor, but also great gifts because it doesn't use up that much yarn, and if you don't make a mistake, it's not too long of a knit. Then I have another pattern by Petite Knit. I'm just gonna try to finish this row because I was knitting on it this morning when I was transferring footage. And I do realize that like 3 out of the 5 patterns I've mentioned so far are by Petite Knit, and I do knit a lot of Petite Knit items. I really like her patterns, but I was actually really surprised recently when I saw a video titled on YouTube, Why Petite Knit is Getting So Much Hate, or Why Petite Knit Patterns Get So Much Hate. And I was actually really surprised. I didn't fully watch the video. I just clicked on it, watched a little bit, and then I don't remember, I needed to go somewhere or something. So maybe I'll watch it after this. But it just surprised me because I don't think she's getting that much hate. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I actually really like her patterns. They're well written. Her designs are clear. They're pretty modern, and she has been in the modern knitting like industry for a while now. She's like one of the OG pattern designers, so she does have reason to be high up there. And maybe it is like fatigue. People are tired of hearing about her, but I don't really think that that's justified just because she's been there for so long and her patterns are really good. Like, she has started many trends in the knitting world, and sometimes it's nice to knit a reliable pattern. You know that when you buy her patterns, the sizes are true to the sizes that she says, but they're also gonna fit, they're gonna knit nicely, and you're not gonna be disappointed with your end product. I don't think there's that many patterns of hers that I was like, oh, this is bad. Yeah. So I was just a little bit confused. I just finished my row, so we can talk about the knit. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you guys watch that video or if you have a Petite Knit fatigue, but I don't. I love her patterns, and I will most likely keep knitting them along with so many other pattern designers. I don't just stick to one. But the knit that I'm working up is the Cloud Sweater, and I'm knitting this with, again, a yarn that I picked up at Knit City. I'm really proud of myself this fall because at the beginning for winter and fall, I made a video with a list of patterns that I wanted to knit up and cast on, and I'm actually working them up. Usually when I make those videos, it's like an endless list, and it always gets added to a list, like an even bigger list every year, every season. And for once, I'm actually making my way through majority of them. So I'm really proud about that. I'm also super proud that I'm using the yarn that I picked up at Knit City. I had this original pattern in mind, and I had also researched a very particular yarn that I wanted to knit it up with, which was the Tofino Knit Co. one of their yarns, one of their like brushed fluffy alpaca yarns. I think it was alpaca. And they didn't have any. She didn't bring that specific yarn base to the convention. So I then had to redirect, find another yarn, and that led me to the Kensington Prairie Farm booth for this beautiful yarn. So this is their Pushpu alpaca. It is a baby alpaca mixed with polyamide and something else. I'm gonna list it right here. But it is a stunning yarn. I'm having so much fun with this one. This is being worked up on relatively big needles, for myself at least. This is US 7 4.5 millimeter needles. I usually knit with smaller. I am actually hitting gauge with this yarn, which is surprising because the pattern calls for an Aran weight along with a mohair. But because this is alpaca, it kind of has a natural like fuzzy halo to it. I don't want to hold a mohair with this. This is already going to be warm. Alpaca's very warm. I don't want to add a mohair to add any more warmth, so I just made sure to hit gauge, which I did for this one so that the size fits properly. But this is my cloud sweater. I really, really like this knit, and it's definitely a great palette cleanser after working on the jean sweater. I mean, I was working them side by side. I needed something light to knit onto because recently I don't really have that much time to knit, and it's like 15-20 minutes here and there, and it's just like after work late at night. I don't have time for a chart or a graph or some complex instructions. I just want to pick up something and knit, and this has been that for me. So I did knit the back panel. I worked the shoulder increases, connected for the front, and I'm slowly working on the front panel before connecting for the body, knitting the body, and then the sleeves, and so on and so forth. So definitely, I love the color of this one. I think this is going to be an amazing one to finish up and have just in time for the real cold winter, hopefully. We'll see. So far it's been working up fairly quickly. I did think about doing a start to end knit video for that one, but because it's such a simple knit, I didn't think it would be that interesting to watch being worked up. I'm going to talk about it in these podcasts. And then at the same time, I had to last minute cast it on because I went to go see the movie, the new Leonardo DiCaprio War by War, War of Wars, one battle after another. I keep messing up the name. So I casted it on, did the short rows for the back super, super quickly in like an hour because the movie was in 2 hours and we needed to get to the theater. And then so that in the theater, I could just knit the back panel back and forth, no increases. Yeah. So that one was like a spur of the moment cast on last minute, but I'm really glad to finally be working it up. Yeah. The last pattern that I'm working on is a very new one, is one that I'm currently working up myself. I'm not going to say too much about it. I did cast it on like 2 days ago, but I just want to show you guys because the yarn is to die for. So this is what it looks like right now. This was knit up with Handspun yarn that I spun up during the Tour de Fleece. It is a 3-ply yarn. It is a worsted weight yarn. This is the skein. I don't have too much of it. I just had 100 grams. So that was about 208 meters of yarn. But this yarn is like one of my favorite spins of the year, if ever. It is a 3-ply of Cormo mixed with yak. Yes, this has continued my yak craze. I just love it. It is so soft and the stitch definition is amazing. Honestly, if I had had like a lot more of this wool, I would have spun it the exact same, but then knit the cloud sweater in this beautiful yarn. That would have been amazing. I would have needed so much more wool. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, this is just what I'm currently working on right now. I love it. And the fact that it's hand spun, so special, so special. So that's kind of it for all of my knitting. But speaking of hand spun, I did finish a new spin. So this is 300 grams of Rambouillet with Hanui wool. So I think last time I had shown you this, it was all still singles on the bobbin. I've then since plied it and skeined it up. This yarn is beautiful. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think that this combination was amazing. So this was one braid from Brambles Ridge in her Price of Egg, which was the colorway for Fibre West this year. I picked it up there. And then 2 braids from Little Fibre Co. in her Rambouillet blend. I don't remember what the colorway was, but this is what the yarn looks like. It's very pastel. It is a 3-ply and it is just to die for. I think these colors blended so well together. The Price of Eggs, the Hanui, kind of had a bit more of a gray tone to it. If I can find pictures of the original braids, that's what they looked like. So the Price of Eggs was a little bit more gray, a little bit more blue, green, orange, whereas the Rambouillet was a bit more blue, yellow, and pink, and like a little bit more whimsical baby color vibe. But the Hanui was still pastel, but just a little bit more earthy tone because of the gray back. Like the Hanui wool had a natural grayness to it. So I love the fact that together you get both of the pastels, but it's like a muted pastel, but it still has that gray from the Hanui. It's not so like bright. It's like a toned down pastel. I really, really like it. So this ended up being 720 meters of sport yes, of sport weight from the 3 braids. I had originally spun this up with the idea to knit the Traveler Shawl by Andrea Mowry because last year I knit her Traveler Cowl with some Targhee wool that I got from Sweet Georgia. I love the pattern. I love the knit. I wear it all the time. Thing is, the Traveler Shawl asks for 750 meters. I have 720. I still have some Rambouillet left from this color to spin up, but I no longer have any Hanui. The Hanui, like, this is it. This was all I had. The Hanui just ran a little bit shorter than the Rambouillet, which happens sometimes with wool. Not all wools weigh the same per like length. So if I was to use up the Rambouillet, like let's say I run out, 720 meters isn't enough, I could spin up that one, but then that patch would be just like brighter and lighter because it wouldn't have the Hanui to kind of tone it down. I also don't have too much, so I would maybe just add like 5 or 10 grams to this. So I'm gonna try to knit up the Traveler Shawl, but I might have to fudge the numbers a little bit, fudge the size to get it to work for the amount of yarn I have, because 3 braids just barely cuts it, or undercuts it, essentially. But I'm really happy with the yarn. Honestly, it is beautiful. For my first time spinning with Hanui, it was really interesting. It is super soft, super buttery, spins really, really nicely. And Rambouillet, you guys know it. Ever since doing the Fibre study, it's a breed that I really enjoy spinning, and this one didn't disappoint at all. So no complaints there. I then spun up this other yarn, which I'm not a crazy fan of. So this is my Shaniko wool that I got from Flock. It was 2 ounces, 100% Shaniko. It's the first time I tried this yarn. This wool is a 100% American made breed. It's so similar to the Hanui. It feels really, really nice. The thing is, and where I messed up, I spun this on my supported spindles, on the Bumba the Builder spindle and the Woodland Woodworks. I really enjoy those spindles, and I really enjoyed spinning the singles. I then decided to put it on a bobbin. So I unwound my singles onto a bobbin, and I tried to chain ply it. I'm not good at chain plying. It's definitely a practice thing. I just need to get used to it. I just feel like I ended up with some like weird, like, what is this? Is it gonna focus? Like, what is this? There's just like weird connection points, and I'm just really not a fan of it. But if you compare these 2 skeins, I know this one's like a lot lighter, but chain ply does allow you to have color management like so much better. So this one would most likely knit up into a gradient, whereas this one would be a colored texture. More of like a, not marled, but just like a mixture of color in sections whenever they appear. This one would definitely be like all the dark greens together for a section, all the light green, all the red, you know, so I do like chain ply for that. I think I just need to practice chain plying more. And I'm really glad I did it with this 2 ounce because it's not a lot of yarn, but at the same time, I don't know, like it was a good practice. I'm not a fan of it. The yarn looks pretty, but I don't know what I could use this for because it's definitely like, what? Some parts are like way over twisted and over spun because I was trying to catch up the connection point, and I don't know, chain ply is just like a workout. Definitely need to get used to it. But yeah. So that kind of sums up what I've been spinning on and like fiber related wise. Honestly, the Shaniko, I didn't even measure the wraps per inch or how many meters I have. I honestly, that one was just like, I washed it, I'm done with it, I let it dry, but I was just like, yeah, that's that, whatever. I don't even know what I'm gonna use it for. I might use it in some like scrap project of some sort, but yeah, a bit of a disappointment. But onto acquisitions, and staying in the fiber prep world, the only wool I got to spin is from my Sommelier Club, which is a club from Melly Knits. I'm part of the Blossom group, so I got it in October, and this is what I got. It is beautiful. It's this very deep kind of like cherry red. I really, really like it. And if you want a reference, this is the original wool lock. So this is the undyed, just washed raw wool. It is from a sheep called Farah. Farah is a Romney sheep from Nighthawk Ranch in BC, and then it was mixed with 20% recycled silk and then 5% peduncle silk. I don't really know what a peduncle is, but it just gave it this beautiful red color. I hope the camera picks up just how red it is. I'm actually really intrigued to see if it is gonna stay this red as I spin it up, or if the gray is just gonna pop out a little bit more. Don't really know. One thing about these clubs that's really fun is she'll often give a little additional gift. So this is from Busted Buttons. It might show up on the back a little bit better, but it's just a little cute leaf stitch marker. So as soon as I got this, I knew that I was going to spin it up really soon for the holidays and potentially knit it into something fun, which gave me the great idea to kind of do a spin to knit along, which I think when the video comes out, it will just start or have just started. So you can join. It is going to be on Instagram and in the Discord server. There's like a group chat for it. And then on Instagram, you can use the hashtag that I'm going to put right here for it. So the general idea, it's very chill, no stress. Spin what you can, knit what you can, but the idea is to spin 100 grams or more if you have time and want to, and then knit it into something. Because what I wanted to do was spin this and then knit it into socks potentially, because this has 25% silk, which is a strong enough silk consistency to last in like your toes, your heel construction, your cuff construction, and give you that sturdiness. I'm still not sure. It really depends on what the yarn feels like once it's spun up and how consistent I am. I also rounded up a bunch of patterns on Ravelry for a DK weight yarn because I'm going to be aiming for a DK weight with this wool, a spin. So in that Ravelry bundle, there are scarves, hats, designs, and stuff like that in there. So if you're curious about that, the link is in the description box. If you're curious about the spin along, I highly recommend you check out the hashtag, which will also be linked here or in the Discord group. If you aren't part of the server, the link is also in the description down below. There are other like chats in there, and then there's going to be more holiday, festive, like conversations going on and projects. But yeah, this is just going to be a very fun, get ready for the holidays. The challenge ends, I think, the first or second week of December. I decided to make it end before the holiday, before all the like Christmas parties start, before people start seeing their family, so that you could get time to finish your knit, but also be able to wear it at these events, whether it's socks, hat, scarf. So that was the whole concept behind the spin to knit along, and this is my only wool acquisition this month. I then went to Victoria with my parents for the very first time, and I went to a couple different yarn shops. I visited 3. I don't remember the names of the yarn shops, so I'm going to list them as I talk about the yarns that I got. Now, the yarn that I got isn't yarn that is like inaccessible to me where I currently am. So it's yarn that I've already seen before and that you might have also, but it's just yarn that I wanted to pick up because it's like a memory for me, at least, from Victoria, the capital of BC. This is my first time that I'm going to be knitting with this yarn. This is going to be it's a German yarn. It's Zuberball Crazy, and it is, let me see if I can find the English label. Yes, it is 75% virgin wool and then 25% nylon. It is a sock yarn, but I just really love the colors, the purple, the pinks, and orange. I thought that this would be really fun to knit into a cute little pair of socks. So I just got one of these. This was, yeah, at the very first yarn shop. The fun little cat ball. At the same store on the wall, there was like this super cute little sample of mittens, and one of them was the Songbird mittens. I've been wanting to knit these mittens for a really, really long time now, and I thought, you know what, this was the perfect time to pick up the yarn. I tried on the mitten, it fit really nice, and it was a little bit more rustic, but it wasn't like an itchy, uncomfortable feeling. I really, really like them. So I went ahead and I picked up the exact same yarn, but in different colors because it was in a navy and a white. I just wanted mine to be burgundy. So I picked up the Tin Peer Gynt. It is 100% Norwegian wool in these 2 shades. I've never worked with Peer Gynt, not this yarn weight, and they're thicker. So this is going to be my first time working with it. It is a little bit, I mean, it's 100% wool. It's not the softest, but it's not like that uncomfortable. I do have a friend who knit a sweater in the Peer Gynt, just the regular one, and she can't wear it because it's too itchy. So I'm really interested to see. I think on my hands it'll be fine. I don't know. I tried on the mitten and it seemed fine, so I think that will be fine. And then the next day I made my parents walk for like 25 plus minutes to go to another yarn shop because I really wanted to go. But when we were there, my mom was thinking like, I really like those bird mittens as well. So she asked like if I would make her a pair, but she wanted them to be in the traditional colorway, which was the navy and the white. So at the second yarn shop, I picked up this wool. Now this is a different type of wool. It is 100% British wool. It is Ba Ram Ew, Pip Colorwork, and Pip Natural. I've never heard of this yarn before. So I got 2 of these because these just run you 100 meters the skein, whereas this one was 200 meters the skein. So this is half of that. So I got that for the mittens for my mom. I'm usually not keen on doing the same pattern twice back to back. So I think I'm gonna knit my mom's mittens first since it's a gift, and then I'll knit mine. But because this one is a little bit more rustic and itchy than the Peer Gynt, what I think I'm gonna do, and I also found in my stash, was this leftover soft alpaca lace by Hobby. It is 100% baby alpaca. It is sort of in a similar navy. It's a little bit lighter, but I think I'm just gonna hold this one with this to add a little bit of softness to it. This lace weight will not add that much to like the gauge or the swatch, I don't think. Maybe I'll add a white mohair to the white to make this one a little bit softer, but that's what I think I'm gonna do. So that is a pattern that I hope to cast on really soon and get them done before New Year's when I see my mom. We'll see, we'll see. Compared to the sweater vest that took me 2 years to finally cast on, we'll see what actually happens. I then also picked up Ilimani Sabri 2, which is 85% organic cotton and 50% baby alpaca, because for a while now I've been wanting to re-knit a summer knit that I self-drafted like years ago. And I don't know, I just want to re-knit it, figure it out again. So when I went to Knit City, I was searching for like more summer friendly mix blends. I didn't want it to be like 100% bamboo or 100% cotton, but I guess because Knit City was at the brim of fall, it just was wools, or 100% cotton. There was no like blends, so I was a little bit disappointed about that. And then at the yarn shop, this was again the only type of, out of all the yarn shops, this was the only type of blendish yarn. So I also really like this gray. This is kind of like a really interesting texture. It's like a chain plied yarn. So this is definitely going to be a bit different. It's a bit more drapey than the original yarn I had used, but I'm really interested to see what that knit will look like with this. So hopefully I can get that done before spring or around springtime and then show you guys. But that was kind of it for yarn acquisitions from Victoria. I'm just gonna put these back in my travel Ziploc bag because that's how I got them in the suitcase, to get all the air out to like but yeah, so that's kind of it for acquisitions. No, that's not true. Oh my god, I have one more acquisition. And we're going back to fiber spinning because this one is 2 little spindles I purchased from Batty Fibers. They are 3D printed spindles. I wish I could show you them, but I've both been spinning on them and doing little test spins. So these are the spindles. As I said, they're both 3D printed. They're relatively small. They spin super, super well. This one I'm spinning some Cormo on it, and this was just like a leftover sample of wool that I had just to see if I could even spin on such a small spindle. So this is the Acorn Light with the micro stripes, and then this is the Pumpkin with the rainbow. I forget what it's called, but it's the Rainbow Pumpkin or something like that. They spin super, super well. And as you know, Turkish spindles, you don't normally spin them on a bowl, but these ones you can because they do have the pointed tip. But at the same time, I usually just like spin them. Yeah, so I purchased these off her. Honestly, they shipped from the States, but I didn't even have to pay duties because they were under, I think it's $40. I didn't even have to pay tariff, nothing. And it shipped really, really quickly. They spin super, super well. And this is the first time I'm spinning from Faux Lags. I'm going to link a video in the description down below about how to make Faux Lags. I had actually just used some random like US 19 15mm needles for my faux lag creation, but someone on Discord said that they only spun unsupported spindles from faux lags or roll lags, and I had never tried it before. I usually spin from the braid, and honestly, this just makes drafting so much easier. It makes the spin so much easier, and I highly recommend, if you haven't tried spinning from a roll lag or a faux lag, try it. A faux lag is basically just, instead of using a worsted prep from the get-go, you make it from a braid. So it turns a woolen prep into a worsted prep. That's why it's called a faux lag, because it's like a fake woolen prep. Worsted prep, woolen prep. Oh no, I'm getting confused. Ugh, I wish they had different words for those two. I tend to still get confused. There's something here. What is this? A little piece of hay. But yeah. Super fast and simple. And the Cormo that I'm using is from Myrtle Yarn. It is the 100% non-superwash Cormo wool, a 4-ounce braid. And this is my little turtle, what it looks like. Super cute. The braid right here, it was this braid. It's slowly being deconstructed, but it's like a textured, spotty type of green vibe. Very matchy with what I'm wearing today. One fun thing about faux lags or roll lags is that you can kind of color manage. Mine right now, it's all green, but if I had like a blue in there and I wanted to move it around, you can totally move your colors around. It's very simple, and I can just put it in a little box, make them as I need them. So right now, as you saw, most of my braid isn't split up, and I can just store it and just take this box with me with both my spindles, and it's super easy and packs well. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, I kind of got into a new hobby, and that is sewing. Since we talked last, I have made 2 new skirts, and they have their own designated video, but I just wanted to show you guys. This is what the skirts look like. So this is the first one. This one was originally a white canvas that I was really unsatisfied with. I just sewed it and then didn't really like. If I have the video, I'm gonna put it right there. I just thought it looked unfinished. I just bought a very plain raw organic cotton, untreated, I thought that would look really nice, because sometimes you do see in stores like natural cottons, and they're just cotton, you know, it has a natural color to it, but it just felt unfinished. So I decided to get a nicer fabric and make the skirt again, because I knew I wasn't gonna wear that one, the beige one. So I went back to the fabric shop and I got some beautiful linen, and I sewed a second skirt. So this is the exact same skirt, just a little bit longer. This one is made out of linen, and it was a more expensive of a fabric, but I honestly really like this skirt because it's linen. You can probably tell it's a little bit more drapey, it's a little bit more flowy. It does have wrinkles on it. It does need to be ironed, because if you wear linen, you'll know it creases. So that is one disadvantage about this one. But while I was at the shop picking out this fabric, I had also picked up some dye. So that is why this one is now green. So I now have 2 finished skirts. I actually really like them both. I've been wearing them both quite a lot recently, even with some tights underneath as the days get colder. But these are just skirts that I'm super happy to have in my wardrobe with me, and I can't wait to see what else I'm gonna sew up. But one thing I did want to point out is this skirt, I had bought eye dye, or it wasn't RIT dye, it was eye dye, and the label said olive green. This is not olive green. So I did want to say, if you ever buy eye dye, I got mine from Maiwa. Just be mindful of the colors. Maybe look online what the color actually dyes to, because to me, this is much more of a forest green. This is more olive green. This is just, or I don't know, olive green is just like, this is forest green, you know? So that is just one thing I did want to point out. If, like, I really like this green, and I'm so happy with how the skirt turned out. I also like how the dye, because it's a natural dye, it didn't pick up on the thread or the buttons. The thread is a polyamide thread. The buttons are plastic buttons, so the dye didn't affect it at all, which is really good to know. Even at the bottom at the hem, there's the white thread showing, which I think adds a super cute detail that my brown one does not have, because I went and picked up an exact like thread match color because I wanted it. Yeah, this was just like a fun little surprise. So I'm actually really happy with my sewing, and I'm really happy with my sewing machine. It works really well. I haven't had any issues with it, and I'm honestly kind of surprised how like not bad of a sewist I am. It's a huge learning curve, and there's so much I need to learn. But I think the next pattern I'm gonna make is a project bag, because I would really like to have more project bags for my knits. And I always say I'm gonna buy them at craft fairs, but I never find like that bag that I'm like, ooh, I really need this. So maybe I could make my own. So if you have any project bag like sewing patterns, write them down below. I'll look into them, and then we'll get onto the quilt. I'm not starting the quilt till I'm done my Breed of the Month fiber study. That's like, I think I'm gonna do one big project a year, and for 2026, maybe the quilt will be my big project, the like bedding quilt. Yeah. So this kind of sums up everything that was finished, everything that I'm working on, and I feel like this is a lot. I'm like surrounded by projects right now, but it just all makes me really, really happy. So I'm really curious for you, what have you been working on during this video, or what is your big project right now? How are you feeling? How's your day? Do you also have a cold? Because it seems like everybody around me right now is sick. I guess it's that season, the weather is changing. You know, it's always the same story. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching the video all the way through. I hope you have a lovely, beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.